This young lady on Friday, she astounded me with what she's about to do, so let's have a warm round of applause please for Steph Jeavons, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. Come on, Steph, welcome, nice to see you, mate. Take a seat, hello again.
Thank you.
You've got a good microphone. Yeah, you've got some footage running there. Now, I'll just set the scene. This young lady is about to embark in about 5 weeks' time on a solo trip, unaccompanied, self-funded, on a 250 Honda around the world. She looks completely sane, doesn't she? She looks pretty sane to me. Whatever possessed you to do that?
Do you remember the film The Littlest Hobo? It was that, really. The thought of sort of travelling around, it's like that romantic image. I'm sure we've all got it in our heads, that's the thing. And then that kind of evolved over the years. And I've worked with some fairly inspiring people in my time. Of late with a guy called Nick Sanders, who you've probably heard of. I think he's coming over shortly. And that kind of brought it home to me, and I thought, well, I could do that. Why can't I do it? So there's always that something you'll do at some point soon. And I think for me, I thought, right, I've got to set a date, otherwise it's never going to happen. I've got to do it before I'm 40. I'm 38 now, so a year ago I thought, right, set a date, and that's exactly what I did. There's no real big reason for it. There's no real philosophy behind it, apart from I get bored easily, really. So.
When did you start riding motorcycles?
I started riding when I was about 22. I think I first got on a bike when I was a child. My parents both ride bikes, so I got on the back of them quite a lot, going to school or whatever. And then there was a young lad who lived up the road who had a long driveway on a motorbike that lived around the back of us. And my dad's over there, so I shouldn't be telling you this story, but he used to let me sneak on the back of his bike, and we'd ride up and down the lane quite fast, and that was sort of what got me hooked, really. That was like, this is brilliant, I love this. It's that feeling of naughtiness and freedom, really. So, and then I passed my test and became a rider, from pillion to rider, at 22. And then about 2008, much later, I decided to start off-roading, and that really kind of got me hooked properly. So.
When you say off-roading, that was trail riding as opposed to competing, so you were literally riding the hills and valleys and the trails of North Wales. Absolutely, yeah, the best place to be, best place in the world, North Wales, for off-road riding. I actually ended up running an off-road school with a guy called Nick Extons, Dakar, very good British Dakar rider. And we ran that with one day. I wasn't the expert, you know, I'd only just learned to off-road, so I kind of sat at the back of it, you're all right, yeah, good, carry on, don't look at me, carry on, and took pictures. And again, another inspiring person, so yeah, right from there, really. Well, the pictures have been running alongside your route. Now, I said in the introduction, only because you told me, you're going in about 5 weeks' time. Now, yep. What is your route? What's your planned route, and how long are you going to be away? Okay, well, my route is fairly vague. I mean, I know which countries I'm going through, but I'm going to leave it fairly open because I'm skint. So my big plan is to go with as much money as possible, but then use the powers of social media to find places to stay along the way, as well as in my tent and doing wild camping and all that kind of thing. But I'm going to go across to Poland. I've got some guys on Facebook who are going to, some Vespa riders on Facebook who are going to put me up in Poland for a night and show me some roads. And then I'm going to go down to Serbia, where again I've met another Vespa rider who went around the world on his Vespa, amazingly. And then I'm going to go across to Iran, around Pakistan now. We've had a slight change of plan recently. I've lost my nerve on that one, and I'm going around United Arab Emirates and then across to India, and then Nepal, fly across Bhutan and Burma, because unfortunately at this stage you still can't get your bike across through there. So fly across to Thailand, up into Laos, down through Indonesia and Malaysia, all the way to East Timor, and then across Australia, South America, and then I'm going to try and get to the 7th continent, which is Antarctica. So not many people have done that, so we'll see how we go there. My best blagging skills are required on that one. Alright guys, I met these guys earlier. And then from Antarctica I'm going to go up through South America, to across North America, Canada, and then into Africa, and then home. Round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. That's a fairly massive undertaking, isn't it? Just quickly, I haven't told you this story before, but Vespas, have you ever ridden one?
Never, no.
Well, let me tell you. I was a mod the first time round in the 60s, and I had a Vespa. I had a Vespa Sporty, and I did a trip. My aim was to do as many countries in 2 weeks with a Vespa as I could, and I had a mate with a Lambretta, and we set off with the best intentions. We did Belgium, halfway across Holland, his Lambretta seized up, and it seized up beyond repair. The piston broke, so that was it, gone. I towed him all the way down through Germany, into Switzerland, over the Alps, into Italy. You couldn't tow anybody these days, could you? And the gendarmes were riding by, they didn't see the road because we were so close together. I got to within 150 miles on the way back up through France, filled up with petrol, and the local gendarme noticed the road. And as we went to move off, he said, no, no, no. And by now, I'm the towing champion of Europe. So I dropped the clutch away, he said, no, and he got his pistole out, and he said, no. So we had to leave the Lambretta, hitchhike back a month later and repair it, came back. But they're strong, Vespas are strong, and they're good.
Well,
players.
I do apologise for that. Round of applause required, I think, for that.
She knows a Vespa rider, didn't she? There you go. But a brilliant, brilliant achievement. You're doing all this on a 250 Honda.
Yes.
You've budgeted how much money? Am I allowed to ask that, or is it open?
No, you're allowed to ask. Yeah, I'm not going to answer, but you're not. No, I started off with 10 grand. I closed the business down, and I was left with 10 grand in my bank, and I thought, can I do it on 10 grand? Who knows? But I'm going to set a date anyway. I think the answer is probably no, you can't do it on 10 grand. But so I've had to beg, borrow, and steal, and save, and do whatever I can. I think overall, everything included is about 30 grand. It's going to cost me, and that's wild camping. I mean, I've got £5 a day for food, £10 a day for accommodation, so I'm going to kind of save up. So every third night I might have a £30 accommodation, you know, carnets are quite expensive, you know, they depending on, another good reason to take a cheap bike, you know, a 250 is not so expensive to buy, and therefore the carnets are not, a carnet is like a passport for your bike, if you don't know. You have to get certain countries, you have to have this carnet. For me, that cost me about 1,600 quid, but for a big, expensive bike, you're looking probably triple that. So visas, again, a lot of injections, they all cost money. So yeah, in all, probably about 30 grand.
Well, there won't be many ATM machines, will there? Not once you get off the beaten track. You can't go off with a wad of cash. How are you going to manage the financing as you go along?
Well, I mean, you'd be surprised where you find ATM machines, you know, and I think pretty much everywhere these days you've got ATM machines, and you've got Wi-Fi or Wi-Fi, depending on which country you're in. So yeah, I'll carry a small amount of money, and then maybe, you know, a couple hundred quid or whatever, and that will do me for quite some time, and then just top it up as I go along.
Bike preparation, maintenance as you go along, obviously the essentials, oil and coolant and tyre pressure, spokes and change, you'll do a bit of routine. You up to that? You can cope with all that? Not being rude, but can you do that?
No, it's a good question, and I'm not actually very good at bike maintenance, but I'm getting there, and I'm learning, and I've got some great friends who are very good at it, and I've got a lot more to do before I leave, to be honest, to make sure that I remember all these things, because you can so easily forget to check the oil and your bike seats before you've even left Europe, you know, so I've got to, I'm drilling that into my head now, so yeah, but it's fairly standard, the bike. I'm keeping it simple. I put a bash plate on it, I put a screen on it, what else have I done? Heated grips, because I've got really bad circulation, so heated grips. I've never had heated grips before, they are brilliant, get them. But that's about it, really. Yeah.
Society getting old, that is great.
Oh no! I'll be getting a vest for next.
You'll get a string vest next. But, I mean, have you identified, I mean, I've asked you this, I haven't asked you before, but have you identified places along the route where you might, sort of garages, dealerships, where you might be able to drop in, and I suppose because your route's so flexible, you haven't really?
No, is the answer to no. No, I mean, again, I'm deliberately trying not to have a set route, because I might get obsessive about it, you know, oh, I'm off route, oh, you know, and that's one of the reasons I'm going on this trip, really, if there is a philosophy, is to let go of that, and to try and relax into what I'm doing, and move forward, and live for the now, and you know, all those cliches, and so setting a defined route would kind of take that away, I think.
How long has this been in the planning?
It's been in my head for a very long time, but I set my date about a year ago, and I have been planning quite... Hi Nick Sanders over there. It's been in my head, I set the date about a year ago, and it's been almost a full-time job, I'll be honest. But I do get obsessive about things, so, you know, maybe didn't need those 3 spreadsheets. And so, yeah, quite a bit doing.
Absolutely. Well, an amazing feat. Now, how can people follow your progress? How are you going to monitor and track it? Who's reporting it for a start?
Well, Ride Magazine are reporting it, and my blog is probably the best place to follow, which is One Steph Beyond. Nice easy one to remember. I'm on Facebook as well, obviously, but I'm going to try, again, I don't want to become a slave to the you know, the updating and the blogging and all that kind of thing, but at the same time I do want to record this, and I want to, you know, pay service to the people who have helped me out as well, so I think it's quite important. So maybe once a week, whatever, I'll make sure that I update my blog and get as many pictures and stories on there as I can.
Brilliant. Steph Jeavons, everyone, round of applause. Don't go away, don't go away. I'm going to introduce you now to a gentleman who has been something of a mentor for Steph over the years.